Hello and welcome to this cybersecurity career simulation. I'm Jason Marks. In today's scenario, we'll be consulting with a small business owner who is looking to fortify his IT network, but he's run into a couple of problems. Number one, he doesn't have any more physical space for any more physical hardware. And number two, as a startup business, he's looking for something that's rather cost efficient. So in today's scenario, we're going to recommend virtual machines using the VirtualBox software, which we have already downloaded, and we'll be importing the virtual machines as well. Also, in this simulation, we'll be going through the CEO PC to diagnose connectivity issues and how to resolve them. We'll also be looking to discover and document the OS version, IP address, subnet mask, default gateway address, and DNS servers for the CEO PC, the web server, and DNS server. We'll also be using the CEO PC to use FTP to download a file onto the CEO PC. We'll be looking to create a new user account through the network on the web server, and we'll also use the Kali Linux machine to map out all open ports on the DNS and web servers. And finally, we'll be using Wireshark software to document all of the real-time traffic going through during the FTP transfer. So the first thing that we want to do is obviously we want to go into VirtualBox, which I already have downloaded here, and we'll open that up. As you can see, there's the software right there, and the first thing we want to do is import a file. So we want to go here, and I have them in our downloads folder, and the first one we want to do is the router and the firewall. So we'll just click. And now that we have all of our virtual machines loaded with the router firewall, the DNS server, the web server, the CEO PC, the Kali Trusted, the Kali DMZ, which DMZ is also known as what is called a three-legged firewall. If you look at this chart there, which it includes the DNS web server and also the Kali DMZ machine. So now that we got the virtual machines loaded, we're going to look at the CEO PC where it looks like it's having some network connectivity issues. We're going to diagnose the problem and then come to a solution in order to rectify it. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to log in to the CEO PC. And the first thing we'll do is we'll open up the Firefox web browser on the CEO PC, and we're going to try to log in to scclab.net. And after a long waiting period of time, it comes up server not found. We check the address for typing errors such as a missing W. It doesn't look to be that way. It looks like everything is correct on the web address. And it says if you're unable to load any pages, check your computer's network connection, which is what we're going to do next. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to go over here, right click the dual monitors icon here at the top right hand corner, head to edit connections, and auto ETH2 is the one that you want. We'll go click edit, and then we will head to the IPv4 settings. And as you can see, it is in manual mode, and it looks like the addresses are all incorrect. So we can go in manually and put this all together to get it working, but for a small business owner that doesn't have a lot of time to mess with that, maybe he wants to work smarter and not harder. And there's a way to do that. We'll go over here to the method and click automatic DHCP. We'll hit apply and type in the credentials needed in order to make the changes. And there we go. So we'll minimize this for a second. So a rule of thumb for me is you go to the icon here because it may not make the changes right immediately. You can reset the PC, but one thing that I'd like to do is just click this icon and then click auto ETH2, let it refresh. Next thing we want to do is we want to check to see if it's actually connecting now. And there's a way to do that. You can go to the web browser and check to see if the website does come up. But for our purposes, we're going to go ahead and do a ping on the website, www.seclab.net. And now, as you can see, it is presenting me some packets. Therefore, it is connected. So we will go over here and we will try this again. And there you go. Congratulations, Cybersecurity Bootcamper. You are viewing this page because you have correctly installed VirtualBox, a firewall, a web server, and a computer. But your journey has just begun, Padawan. Continue to develop this project and prepare your presentation, which that's what we're doing right now. The next task in this cybersecurity career simulation will be to discover and document the OS version, IP address, subnet mask, default gateway address, and DNS server address of the CEO PC, the web server, and DNS servers. So since we had already been working on with the CEO PC earlier, that's going to be the one that we start with. As you can see, I have my terminal application already up and running, which you can just access by going to Applications, System Tool, and Terminal. But to find the software version of this CEO PC, there's a way that you can do it, and you just go to System, About this computer, and as you can see, it is CentOS Release 6.4 Final. So now that we've got the operating software version of the CEO PC, we will now find all of the addresses. And there's one way that you can do it. You can just type in ifconfig, and it will give you the IP address or the INET address of 192.168.0.15, the subnet mask of 255.255.255.0, and it also has a local loopback address for the system to talk within itself at 127.0.0.1 with a mask of 255.0.0.0. Now, for the default gateway address, there's a way that you can look for that too. And you could just type in route. And it took a moment, but it did pop up as the default gateway address of 192.168.0.1. So the last thing for the CEO PC that we'll need to do is to find the DNS server address. And there is a way to do it with the website that we went to earlier, seclab.net. We type in the dig command, www.seclab.net. As you can see in the additional section, nsl.seclab.net shows a DNS server address of 10.200.0.11, which, since there is only one DNS server through this entire family of machines, it will serve as the DNS server address for the entire family. So now that we got the CEO PC's information, we're going to move on to the DNS server. So the first thing we want to do is we want to type in an ifconfig, where it shows the IP address of 10.200.0.11 with a mask of 255.255.255.248. Notice the local loopback address is also the same at 127.0.0.1 and then 255.0.0.0 for the mask. And the next thing we want to do is we want to find what version of software this is. What's the OS? So the first thing, so let's go cat, and we need to do it verbatim. CentOS Release 6.4 Final. Got the DNS server. So now we're going to move on to the web server, which we do the same thing as I'm already logged in. We pull up the web server, and we're going to go to ifconfig. And this shows up IP address of 10.200.0.12 with a subnet mask of 255.255.255.248. And obviously, the local addresses are also the same 127.0.0.1 and 255.0.0.0 for the subnet mask. And that is LSB release TAC A. And it showed up the Ubuntu version 8.04 with the code name Hardy. The next task in this cybersecurity career simulation will be to obtain a file via file transfer protocol from the web server using the CEO PC. But we also have an interesting caveat to this. We're going to be using our Kali trusted virtual machine in order to document the live traffic of the transfer protocol using Wireshark software. So the first thing we're going to do is we are going to go to our Kali trusted machine. We're going to click on this dragon here, and we're actually just going to type Wireshark, and it'll open it up. And the thing you want to do is you want to just hit this blue fin here, and now it's going to start recording. Right now, nothing's going on because we haven't done anything yet. So now we're going to move to our CEO PC where I've already moved to the desktop directory on this CEO PC because I want it to show up on the desktop screen as we are transferring it. So the first thing that we want to do is we want to do FTP, and the web server address is 10.200.0.12. And now it asks for a username and a password. And there we go. We're in. So now we want to just bring up a list. So we'll go ls space tac l. And the file that we want to get is the social media security policy. So now we're going to use the get command, and we have to type the file verbatim, social media security policy. And now so what happened there? I forgot to capitalize the P. That's why the file never worked. So we're going to try this again. Social media security policy with a capital P. And the transfer is now complete. As you can see, the file pops up on the desktop of the CEO PC. And then we are able to read the file through the desktop. And now we move over to our Wireshark logs, and we'll stop it right here so it'll stop recording. As we get right here, we'll stop that. But one thing that really points out, or really stands out, is it shows that the login is successful, but it's also showing the password that I put in order to log into the FTP server, which is something that we will have to address with the client moving forward because that could be problematic. It will probably need some encryption in order to avoid anyone from getting access to that information. The next task in this cybersecurity career simulation will be to document all of the open ports in the web server and the DNS server. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to our Kali trusted machine here, and we're going to actually type out the web address for the web server using the mmap command, 10.200.0.12. And as you can see, that the web server has 23 ports that are open out of 1,000, with 977 that are closed. Now to the DNS server, we'll clear that out. We'll do the mmap command again. Let me make sure that I know how to type. 10.200.0.11. And as you can see, there's only 2 open ports in the DNS server out of 1,000, which means 998 are spoken for. And in our final task in this cybersecurity career simulation, we are going to add a new user to the network. And in order to do that, we will need to go to the Kali Trusted Machine. And the command that we're going to type in here is going to be sudo, which gives us better commands. And then we're going to go add user, all one word, tac force tac bad name. And there's actually one thing that I forgot to do, and that is actually to add in a username. For this one, we'll go jmarks82. Add a space in between that. Let's just check this here real quick. Yep, we're good. And then now we're going to hit, and then the password, I forgot to put in the username for the Kali password. That was my mistake. So now we're going to do the password for the new user, retype it, and then we're just going to put Jason Marks, room number 9, that was my old baseball number, work phone 555-867-5309, and salute to Tommy Two-Tone. And home phone, don't really have one, we'll just go 555-404-3888. And then other, I am the greatest. And is the information correct? Yes, it is. And there we go. The thing that we want to do is we want to switch over to the user. So SU jmarks82, password JRM1982, and there we are. We are now logged in through the Kali machine. So in conclusion, today we learned how to download virtual machines using the VirtualBox software. We've learned how to identify all the OS versions of the operating software for the web servers and for the DNS server and for the CEO PC and the Kali Trusted Machine. We also learned how to transfer files via FTP through the web server, and also how Wireshark caught a discrepancy which could be very, very vital information that could get into the wrong hands. We also learned how to use or add a new user to the system, and we also saw how we use the mmap command to also identify open ports in the DNS server and the web server. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and this simulation, and we'll talk to you soon.